Hello from Adventure Isle. We are here today at Universal Studios Hollywood to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Universal Studios tour. If you don't know, they're doing a huge celebration here at Universal Studios Hollywood. They've transformed a whole bunch of the studio tour trams into being the old school vintage Glamor Trams, and they've got a whole new experience that's going to kick off a little bit later this week. But today we get to be some of the first guests to experience the all-new 60th anniversary tour. So we're going to go check that out right now. We're going to take you along with us. If you're not already, make sure to like and subscribe here to our page at Adventure Isle for lots more theme park content and fun. But for right now, let's go check out the Studio Tour 60th anniversary and get on a Glamor Tram. And another fun fact real quick before we get on the new Glamor Tram on the 60th anniversary of the Studio Tour, they actually put you in different cars. A lot of people don't realize that, but the cars all have different names. So this is the movie star car, and all the other cars have different names. All right, we did it. We waited, and now we're going to get to go on an actual Glamor Tram. Let's go! You okay? Get out of here. Alright, we got the thumbs up. We are out of here. Let's put on our exit music. Wave goodbye to everybody to the left. Bye, everybody. Bye. Happy 60th. See you out there. We are leaving the theme park behind and heading up to the heart of the studio where tons of Hollywood's top talent every single day. I'm going to be your guide today. I am Kelly. Again, our driver is Jamie. For the next hour or so, we will be going behind the scenes of one of the world's biggest and busiest production studios. But before we get too far, I'd like to review our safety rules. First, if you need guest assistance or have a medical emergency, or if you drop something of value off the side of the tram, or if you have sound or video issues, then reach up and grab the red cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and as soon as it is safe to do so, I'll be back to assist you. Otherwise, during the entire tour, please stay seated, keeping your arms and legs inside the tram at all times. The studio is private property. If at any time during the tour you drop your phone, or you can't wait to use the restroom, then pull the cord and remain seated. No smoking of any kind during the tour, and be prepared. Our tour today features loud noises, sudden tram movements, fire effects, and water effects. You'll want to have your cameras out for great photos, but keep an eye on them so they don't get wet. And finally, for your safety and for those around you, please no use of selfie sticks while you are on board. And now we have gotten our 60th anniversary studio tour on the road, and to help us kick off our celebration, here is our master of ceremonies and the host of the Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon. Welcome aboard the world famous studio tour. I know what you're thinking, why the tux? Well, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. That's right, 60 years of glitz, glamour, and our own great white shark. As we celebrate our diamond anniversary today, we'll pay tribute to Universal's past and take you behind the scenes to discover why this studio tour is world famous. So whether this is your first visit or your 60th, get ready for fun, excitement, and an experience like no other.
Thank you, Jimmy. So on March 15, 1915, our founder Carl Lyon invited the public into the studio to watch silent movies being made. Guests could wait from from set to set and marvel at the new technology involved in filmmaking. But with the invention of sound and the need for quiet on the set, the original walking tour ended. In the 1960s, under the leadership of company chairman Lou Wasserman and executives Al Borskip and Jay Stein, the idea of reviving a tour of the studio returned when the Gray Line bus tours originating in Hollywood made a stop at our gates. On July 15, 1964, the first of our red and white candy-striped Glamor Trams took 67 passengers on a 2-hour driving tour of the Universal lot, and the world-famous studio tour was born. We started with 2 drivers, 2 guides, and 1 ticket seller working out of a trailer on Lankershim Boulevard. From there, the studio tour expanded with fantastic one-of-a-kind Hollywood elements like the Burning House and Rock Slide, which were in this area of the lot back in the 70s and 80s. Today you're on one of our 60th anniversary Glamor Trams. It's one of our super trams, but dressed up in throwback style. This red and white candy striping was originally created by Harper Goff, a well-known Hollywood art director and set designer who worked on movies like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory for Paramount and was known for his fantastical designs. In 1983, we upgraded to super trams, allowing us to carry more guests and experience more thrills. In 2000, we added onboard video, turning the tram into a movie theater on wheels, and in the past 5 years, we have gone electric. Let's see where the studio tour will take us today. We are heading towards our front lot where TV shows and films are made inside of our sound stages. And we start by heading on to the front lot where we're driving in between the studio and the theme park. Coming up on your right is Super Nintendo World, home to Mario and Luigi, the stars of our biggest film of 2023, the Super Mario Brothers movie. This is also where the studio tour guests once had a chance to explore facets of Hollywood not accessible to the public before 1964. In the 60s and 70s, they could visit the dressing room of comedy legend Lucille Ball, step into the office of Oscar-winning costume designer Ian Head, or drive through the Pop Warehouse on the tram. By the 1980s, this was the home to the Preview Center, a popular stop on the tour that included the special effects stage, an interactive show that featured actor Robert Wagner as its video co-host. Now on your left, you're seeing our sound stages. A lot of cool stuff is shot here. Bel Air, the HBO Max, the Max Show, Hacks, Superstore used to use these sound stages directly to your left. And to tell us more, here's our next 60th anniversary guests from the Peacock series Bel Air, Jabari Banks and Ollie Charlton.
We're leaving the theme park behind and entering the front lot where real Hollywood magic is made. How? Well, inside the sound stages that surrounds us, we can create any kind of environment the script demands.
For the past 60 years, studio tour visitors have driven right by these buildings, and inside these walls, the sets from your favorite TV shows and movies have transported audiences anywhere the imagination could take you, even to a palatial mansion in Bel Air.
When we film Bel Air, we love coming out of the sound stages and seeing the trams filled with excited guests as they drive by.
So, keep an eye out.
You never know who
or what
you'll see on the studio tour.
So Bel Air has used the soundstage over to your left, stage 14. This was also home to the Mindy Project, starring America Ferrera of Ugly Betty and Barbie fame. It was also home to Superstore.
I know it's hot in here, but let's have some patience for one another.
Yeah, you know, the heat makes us all act.
If your face stays where it is, it's gonna get punched.
We have 36 sound stages on our lot. There is no number 13. Filmmakers can be kind of superstitious. And the really big doors you're seeing on these sound stages, those are called elephant doors. When the elephant doors are closed, a sound stage is about 97-98% soundproof. That's the really big advantage to filming on the inside of one. Also, you don't have to worry about weather, so if it rains, it does not matter. The NBC shows Parenthood, Good Girls, and The Good Place used to film their interior scenes inside of these sound stages to your right. More recently, the Peacock series Killing It, starring Craig Robinson, Daryl from The Office, they have filmed to your right. And speaking of Peacock, coming up on your left in just a second, you're going to see a cute little Ted, and he's got a series out on Peacock now.
Hi everyone, Seth MacFarlane here, and I'm excited to share with you a behind-the-scenes look at my Peacock original event series, Ted. It's a prequel series set in 1993. And that means our skilled craftspeople had to build a high school, a house, and even recreate downtown Boston as it looked back in the day, using exterior sets and facades that you're about to see on the tour. But I should warn you, TED is intended for mature audiences only. So grown-ups, tell the kids to go in the other room before you watch. Oh, come on!
TV runs on a fairly quick schedule. One episode takes anywhere from about a week, maybe 2 weeks tops to complete, from the first read-through to the final taping. Film is a completely different story. Film takes months, sometimes years to complete. We need hundreds of people to help complete them. Some of those people work to your left in our production bungalows. These bungalows used to be dressing rooms to Hollywood's top stars like Rock Hudson, Doris Day, Jimmy Stewart, Tony Curtis. They're now where Hollywood's top writers, producers, and directors come to work every day. Illumination works here. The Windows, the Minions, the Secret Life of Pets, and Sing. Mark Platt works here. You might not recognize his name, but he's a big producer, and he produced Wicked, which is coming to theaters in November. Don't miss this next bungalow on your left, bungalow 5195. You want to look down next to the door, you'll see a familiar portrait. That bungalow used to belong to Mr. Alfred Hitchcock.
My name is Alfred Hitchcock.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Now to your left here, next to some newer offices and sound stages. These were built just a few years ago. First production in them was Hairspray Live. They were then used by Jennifer Lopez for World of Dance, then by America's Got Talent, then by the new seasons of Will and Grace, and now they're being used by the NBC comedy Lopez vs. Lopez that stars George Lopez. So it's been a busy area full of a lot of talent, and so is this next area we're headed to. We're leaving the front lot behind. We're officially entering our back lot.
We're about to cross the imaginary boundary onto the back lot, where we have exterior sets for many outdoor scenes. Over the last 60 years, studio tour guests have seen these locations turned into big cities, quiet suburbs, even that guy's hometown. Yeah, that guy. For countless movies and TV shows. This is Universal's Metro Sets.
So this is where we film our big exterior scenes, not stuff that shoots inside of a smaller sound stage. And coming up on your right, we call this street Brownstone Street. It's a very popular filming location. It's where Jim Carrey lived in Bruce Almighty.
Grace, the dog!
I'm in the shower.
Inside bad, outside good. Inside bad, outside good.
Oh, you're done now. Great. B-E-A-U.
Brownstone's also where Mindy lived on the Mindy Project and was used in Gone Girl starring Ben Affleck. But now we are headed back to the future. Right now we are entering Hill Valley for the Back to the Future films starring Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and Leah Thompson. This is Courthouse Square. Oh, and there's Doc Brown. Hey, Doc. That clock tower is where Doc harnessed the bolts of lightning. Sit right in the flight Back to the Future. Hi.
I just saw it. Don't tell me nobody's out there. What are you doing?
Which would you rather do, this or my time machine? Why not both? I guess you're right. I prefer the time machine, of course. You're all having fun today? Excellent, excellent. Hello there, people. Oh, your time travelers are looking beautiful. Hope you're all having fun. But I need you to find Marty for me. We gotta get back to 1955. Gotta have it. Mom and Dad get together. All right, we'll see you in the enjoy your day.
All right, we should disturb the space-time continuum for too long, so let's say goodbye to Doc for now. Courthouse Square still has many facades that were built in the 1940s. The rest of our Metro sets are considerably newer, redesigned, and rebuilt in 2008. Before that, this area was home to a studio tour classic. Here's one of the stars of Universal's 2005 version of King Kong, Jack Black, to tell you about it.
And self-action. Did you know the Metro sets were once the home to Hollywood's biggest star? Right here is where the original studio tour King Kong attraction resided from 1986 until 2008. He stood 30 feet tall and weighed in at 13,000 pounds. Over the years, millions of guests got to meet King Kong face to face as he shook the tram. So close you could feel his hot banana breath. Is that it? I can't believe that's my last line, and then the tram moves on to the next thing.
Yep, Mr. Jack Black. So we are on New York Street right now. We use a little trick on the windows. If you guys look at the windows on either side of the tram, we use something called forced perspective. With forced perspective, basically, the further away something is to the human eye, the smaller it appears. So our windows on the bottom, we make a little bit bigger. The higher up you look, we make them a little bit smaller. This tricks your eye. It makes you think the buildings are taller than they really are. A lot of cool TV shows and films have shot in our metro set. Shows like NCIS, How I Met Your Mother, Key and Peele, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, American Ninja Warrior. Really big films like Captain America, The First Avenger, Transformers, Spider-Man, Baby Harrison, Hobbs and Shaw. Steven Spielberg helped us design our metro sets, but he's not the only Oscar award-winning director Universal has collaborated with throughout the years.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up on an adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times.
So everybody get your 3D glasses ready. Make sure you've got a good hold on all of your belongings. Remain seated at all times. Please no use of flash and enjoy the ride.
The island. Movies lived here for hundreds of years. Keep us sure.
One of the largest and most intense movie experiences ever had. They'll just dry off. That epic battle was projected onto one of the world's largest 3D digital screens, standing 40 feet tall, 180 feet long. It was produced by Peter Jackson and the filmmakers over at WetFX. The filmmakers at Weta have won 7 Academy Awards and have worked on tiny little films you might have heard of, including King Kong, Avatar, and the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies. Here's the behind-the-scenes bits on how they made that ride.
With a project like the studio tour,
The audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Looking on a movie, we always know where people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from.
So everybody get your cameras ready for some studio tour history. Over here on your right, that's the runaway train and the collapsing bridge. The collapsing bridge was a mechanical effect that the trams used to cross. The hydraulic supports would split and the bridge would seem to collapse. The runaway train was originally located in our western set. It used to hurtle toward the tram and come to a screeching halt. Both the retired effects made it to the studio tour 50 years ago.
The studio tour has changed over the years. Each generation has its favorite moments and memories, whether it's the rock slide or the ice tunnel.
Dad, really?
Who didn't love the ice tunnel?
Well, one thing that hasn't changed has been families sharing this one-of-a-kind behind-the-scenes adventure together.
How about picture cars?
Oh, that we agree on.
There you go.
Yes, we are coming up on our picture cars. Coming up on your left. A picture car is any vehicle that's been shown on screen. Our tram is one. A Volkswagen in it. Of course, the manure car from Back to the Future. Here's a lovely picture card from the Flintstones and Harry Potter. And if you saw Jurassic World, you will definitely recognize the gyrosphere. The sphere part looks like it's missing, but it was never really there. In the film, it was CGI, computer-generated imagery. Some of those cars we just saw do still have the engines in them and are still drivable. Some of them we take the engines out, can't drive those anymore. We want them to be light enough so we can throw them up in the air, flip them around, and manipulate them like we do in our Fast and Furious cars. Over here to your left, you see our Dino Paddock. Dinosaurs are in our DNA here at Universal. They've been a part of the tour for 3 decades. We hardly have room in the paddock for our expanding collection, and we actually have a T-Rex just in time for our 60th anniversary. I'm excited to tell you that the new era of the franchise will begin on July 2nd, 2025 with Jurassic World 4 as we enter the Jurassic Forest. Here's Chris Pratt to tell us more about this location.
So for many years, this part of the studio tour was the greens department, where we keep real plants and trees that can be used as set dressings for TV shows and movies. Nowadays, it's where you can see many of the set pieces used in the Jurassic films, including some plants and trees, except these aren't real. Just like the dinosaurs around here. At least, I don't think the dinosaurs are real. Actually, there might be a few real ones around here, so just be on the lookout.
You know me.
The mobile lab unit back there to your left before you got spat on by some dinosaurs. That was used in the Lost World Jurassic Park. It dangled over a cliff, and the cliff cliff wasn't really a cliff. That cliff's actually a parking garage on our front lot. We drove by it just a few minutes ago. There's a closet right there. That's a good look. That's the side of a parking garage. Just a camouflage with some set decorations, some greens from our greens department. And we are now heading into the classic attraction here on the back lot. And here to tell you about it is Today's Show co-host and weather anchor, Al Roker.
Time for my favorite part of the tour, weather. When it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1968. Welcome to the only part of the back lot with a 100% chance of rain. The flash flood.
Yeah, it's raining over to your left, but you guys can see that's not real. It's definitely happening on the left side of the tram. Now, it is the result of an overhead sprinkler system. It's just shooting the water up in the air, then it falls down to the earth in a natural looking place, just using gravity. But it's real. It's got some help to get rain in the film. However, this is a really old part of our lot. We're actually not supposed to let this affect the work for too long because weird stuff happens back here with one. So guys, really tough to me and rain effects if you're back from your break. Are you guys back? Oh, they're not back. Everybody hold on. Old Mexico's also been seen in Nacho Libre with Jack Black, Three Amigos with Steve Martin, Martin Short, Chevy Chase, and Criminal Minds Beyond Borders. But we are crossing the border now onto the streets of the Old West. Welcome to 6 Woods, y'all. So Old Western TV shows and film shot back here. Seabiscuit starring Tobey Maguire used it. Call of the Wild starring Harrison Ford, but also Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio worked back here on Quentin Tarantino's film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And something you might notice looking around the tram, it's, a road. It doesn't look like the Old West. Well, one of the things the production does when they're getting ready to film back here is they bring in truckloads of dirt, spread it all around, make it look nice and authentic. Then when they're done filming, they take away that dirt. And this area is called 6 Points because we have 6 streets. Back in the silent film era when sound did not matter, a different film could be shot on each street at the exact same time. So 6 films could be shot at once. And if you guys take a good look at the sets, the bricks and the stones you see in these buildings, most of those are not real. Most of the bricks and stones used in our backlot sets are either made out of foam rubber, so they're soft and squishy bricks when you touch them, or they're made out of a fiberglass exterior. That's so we can change the looks of our sets and reuse them a lot without you recognizing them. So now as we pull out, you guys are going to see some water and some sound stages. Those are newer sound stages. That's where The Voice now films. This body of water is what we call the Hollywood Ocean. Here in 1974, we added the parting of the Red Sea to the studio tour, inspired by the classic film The Ten Commandments, a Paramount movie. The star of the movie, Charlton Heston, made an appearance to part the waters for our guests. The Glamor Tram seemed to drive right through the lake and give everyone on board a sea-level view.
This tram is overloaded. Tell them they can walk on water as part of the tour.
And that water is also the Black Lagoon from The Creature from the Black Lagoon. 2024 also also marks the 70th anniversary of the classic 3D film Creature from the Black Lagoon, which filmed here in our Hollywood ocean. It's a part of our legacy of horror films and monster movies that stretches from Dracula in 1931 to the upcoming Dark Universe at Universal Epic Universe opening next year in Orlando. And now we are entering a little Europe where it all began. So our monster movie film shot back here. Universal basically invented the monster movie genres back in the late 20s, early 30s when America was going through the Great Depression. But modern day audiences recognize Little Europe as The Good Place, the NBC comedy that stars Ted Danson and Kristen Bell. Fans of the show will recognize the grassy area to your left. That's where all those neighborhood meetings took place. Coming up around the corner to your left, you'll see the train station they used a lot.
You, Eleanor Shellstrom, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I've never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here. I can't risk going to the bad place.
Okay, well, maybe it's not all that bad.
Hi there. How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
So that's what Little Europe looked like, bright, shiny, new, and in color for The Good Place. But here's what it looked like in black and white for the original Frankenstein films.
Get out the back. Raise all the men you can, lock the women indoors, and wait for me. Are you ready? Take your torches and go!
1930s, All Quiet on the Western Front. That was Universal's very first Best Picture Oscar winner. They also filmed in Little Europe. It was the streets of Germany for that film. That was our first Best Picture Oscar winner. Our most recent was just a few weeks ago, Oppenheimer, directed by Christopher Nolan. That is available to stream on Peacock now. And next door to Little Europe, to your left, we're next to a pretty normal looking house. That is the set for Hallmark Channel's Home and Family. They were a talk show. They ended a few years ago, but the house stayed, and since then it's been used by Bel Air, Bupkis, and Never Have I Ever. That house is a set we call a practical set. That means it's a real house on the inside, so you can film on the inside if you want. So in front of us is Soundstage 50. You may know that last year we closed the earthquake attraction that stood on this part of the lot for decades. We've made way for this new unrivaled state-of-the-art soundstage that is already in high demand. And yes, there is filming going on inside right now. You can tell that by the lid LED light. It's a good time for me to tell you guys we're about the halfway mark of the tour. Just a reminder, remain seated at all times. If you need my assistance, pull the red emergency cord and I'll be back there to help you out. So we've made an arrangement with production to travel through the elephant doors of the soundstage to see what happens inside of it. Let's see. Yep, all right, they're letting us in. The set has been just decorated for a highly anticipated production. It's Hollywood's only two-level soundstage, and check out the detail. The first floor is decorated like a subway station. This is a hot set, meaning it's completely decorated, locked for picture, and ready for the director to call action. Video Village over here to your left, the director's chair, the monitor. That's where everybody kind of hangs out to see if the tape is good. They've got some cool set dressing. There's graffiti over here to the right of part one. We've got hair and makeup over there to the left. And some wardrobe going on. So what happens when they go on break is they basically go outside, take a bathroom, You have been survived an earthquake every month. The attraction originally opened 35 years ago in 1989 and just recently celebrating our 60th anniversary with a complete Hollywood makeover, updating all of the props and remaking the public bringing the set into the 21st century.
I've been here for 11 years, so I'm going to feel old.
There's a training for the big one. It's because it's called
All right, we survived the earthquake. I think at this point in the tour, we have earned ourselves a little vacation. Let's go somewhere cool, calm, and peaceful, a place where nothing bad ever happens. Ooh, this billboard looks so nice. Let's go there. Amity Island, what a great idea. Nothing bad ever happened there. Okay, I'm lying. That's what that really mean shark from Jaws was. But we got nothing to worry about. They caught him. He's hanging up right over there. And my buddy George is out there in the water by the boat doing a sweep, making sure everything's... Uh-oh. I hear ominous music. Did we not catch the right shark? Hey, George, get out of the water, get into the boat. George! Everybody remain seated in the middle so we're safe and further on the pier. Let's hide behind the gas tanks. Be safe behind the gas tanks. Alright, keep your eyes open for any movement out there. A shark that did not do its job very well was Bruce, the mechanical shark from the set of Jaws. On the very first day of filming Jaws, Bruce sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Why? Well, Spielberg's team had tested the shark, but they tested it in fresh water, and they should have tested it in salt water. The salt in the ocean messed everything up. So Bruce sank to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, the crew started calling Jaws flaws, and production was pushed back 100 days behind schedule. Here's Mr. Spielberg.
That's a much maligned shark. The shark was frustrating. It didn't really work. It didn't work hardly at all.
Wherever you were on the island, hear the radio. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working.
We just waited around. We just waited and waited and waited.
The shark worked well enough for a while there, and the biggest hit of all time. So I really owe the shark a lot.
If you're wondering why the shark's name was Bruce, Spielberg named him that after his attorney. And from sharks to chickens, to your right, we call this house our Chicken Ranch. It's been used in a ton of different TV and film. This house is a practical set, so it's real. Oh, you see some bunnies in the bacground, backyard, those are real too. But you see the facade, the yellow house, just how fake it is as we go around the back of it. But why talk about one little house and facade when we could talk about an entire neighborhood, especially one of the most famous neighborhoods in the entire world. Everybody, welcome to Wisteria Lane, home to ABC's Desperate Housewives, and some other people I'll tell you about. If you miss a picture, don't worry, we're going out the same way you came in.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, it's a good neighbor.
At Universal, it's actually called Colonial Street. It's been around a little longer than the Desperate Housewives have. I'll tell you some other productions that are filmed in here. We'll talk about the houses to your right. First house to your right, that's where former President Ronald Reagan lived in the 1950s film A Bedtime for Bonzo, back when Reagan was still an actor. The yellow house was home to the Hardy Boys in the 70s, and it's the main house used on Mindy Kaling's Netflix show, Never Have I Ever. The purple house is the original 1313 Mockingbird Lane, home to the Munsters from the 1960s. And then the beige house after that, that's where Jimmy Stewart lived with a 6-foot tall and Big Harvey in the film Harvey. Eddie Murphy's Christmas movie Candy Cane Lane was shot here, and it's also where Ted lives now.
Let the festivities begin.
How many we got?
Well, let's see. We got 20 gardens.
Fantastic.
Do you think we're getting too old for this?
Come on, Johnny, we're doing a public service. If a kid leaves the house in a less than stellar Halloween costume, he's got to get the bad news before he makes a fool of himself all over town. Prince Americans.
And from Colonial Street to Lyon Estates, over here to your left, you guys see the Lyon Estates sign. You may remember that the Lyon Estates was where Marty McFly lived in the Back to the Future trilogy. Live in the home of tomorrow today. Those signs are replicas of the original props made for the 30th anniversary of the first film. The street we're on right now is named Steven Spielberg Drive. He was executive producer on Back to the Future. He started his career out here at Universal. He continues to work with us a lot to this day. There's a fun photo up coming up to your right with Spielberg's name on a signpost. And here's a little bit more on Spielberg from Spielberg.
When I was about, 16 years old, and I began hanging out at Universal during my summers. And I went to college nearby. I continued to come on the lot and try to become a director. It is my birthplace. This is the place I consider when I first opened, and I love it here. I keep coming back.
And it's fitting that toward the end of Spielberg Drive, we find one of the largest exterior sets from his hit film War of the Worlds, starring Tom Cruise. So over to your left, we're going to drive through it. It's the crash site set. It's a real 747 airplane. It's what remains of the neighborhood where Tom Cruise hangs out in the film. And here's what it looked like on screen.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision that Steven had.
You forget, you sit down to talk about the War of the World. I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep pressing me. Listen, now, listen, I want you to close your eyes, okay? Okay, I'm closed.
Robbie, get in. Get in.
Large-scale sets like this have been part of the studio tour for several decades. Before production destroyed the suburban neighborhood for the film, it was Site B for the Lost World Jurassic Park, and prior to that, it was whimsical Whoville for How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And now, on your right is a set that's been a highlight since the original 1964 studio tour. This is the home of Norman Bates from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. And up next is our official scale replica of LA's most iconic landmark, the Hollywood sign. Well, we are celebrating our 60th. The Hollywood sign is commemorating its centennial year. You see it over here to your right as we make this turn. Of the studio tour, one of our hallmarks was a visit to Pop Plaza, where guests disembarked for once-in-a-lifetime photos and to interact with characters, vehicles, and props from their favorite productions. Well, guess what? Just for our 60th anniversary, we brought that opportunity back. So remember, folks, this is a limited stop. When you are ready to continue your tour, simply follow the signs. You'll be boarding a different tram with a brand new guide, so remember to gather all your belongings and your 3
bit busier. They actually have line queues set up to take official photos here. So you can take a picture with King Kong, with Jaws, or with some Fast and the Furious cars. So let's go check those out. Experience. So when you're done right over here, you can get right back onto a studio tour, and like they said before, it's whatever tour picks you up, so it's not going to be the same tram you came on. So we may or may not be on a Glamor Tram on the way back, but right now we're going to take some pictures. Fast and the Furious cars, and then we're going to end with the Jaws photo op, which already has a long line, so I can tell that's going to be the most popular photo op here. But we'll take a quick look while we wait in line.
Doors are coming down. Once again, welcome back to the tour. One last call for those 3D glasses. If you do not have them, please raise those hands and one of our studio tour ambassadors will come around and get those for you. And once again, of course, please move any small children whose feet don't touch the floor to the center of the tram for their safety. All right, everyone, we are about to head out. Welcome back. If you haven't been on my tram before, my name is Kristen. I am your studio guide, and your driver is Delia. We're very, very excited to have you for this final act of the studio tour. Now, very quickly, we are about 10 minutes out from the end of the tour. So just a reminder, once again, to remain seated at all times and pull that red cord if you need any assistance from me.
I remember going to Universal Studios when I was 12 years old, feeling this feeling of wonder. One of my first trips to Universal Studios, seeing the Jaws, one of my favorite movies of all time, just feeling like, that's it, that's the Jaws. Like, I don't even know if that is the Jaws, I hope it is. Sharing the space with Hitchcock, Spielberg, I couldn't be more proud.
All right, everyone, we are headed into the actual sets of Jupiter's Claim from Jordan Peele's film Nope, starring Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, and Stephen Yeun.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible mission and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Sheriff. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Why? A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience. Built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. Not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of a gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of the UFO hospital. Welcome to the world of the
another one of Jordan Peele's movies, we better get out before anything happens to us and head toward the part of the studio where we once had an attraction called the Doomed Glacier Expedition, better known as the Ice Tunnel, which was featured in an episode of The $6 Million Man, starring Lee Majors, with Andre the Giant as Bigfoot. Now, the tram would climb to an imaginary elevation of 12,000 feet, and the only way back to the theme park was through the ice tunnel, where the slightest sound could trigger an avalanche. And guess what? It always did, causing the walls to spin and guests to tilt along with the Hollywood special effect. Now, we are going to the place where the ice tunnel once stood, but of course, this is Fast and Furious Supercharged. It was built in 2015, and there are still some remnants of the ice tunnel in here. But without further ado, I'm going to let some of my friends take it away.
My name is Roman. Nice to meet you. Buddy contractor to statue, Sean O'Mara. Brought you in our secret spot.
Alright, look guys, we're gonna keep shopifying to keep you safe with your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here. So put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash, one ringtone will give us away.
I need y'all to take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay and we'll meet you in there.
All right, everyone, just a reminder to remain seated at all times and once again secure those belongings. If anything falls off the tram and into the attraction, I will not be able to safely get off and retrieve it for you. I want to make sure that you and all your belongings stay safe.
FBI, don't move. Ma'am, that's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. I got it. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Cop, I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Never mind, a whole lot bigger than yours. Escort this novice out. Let's go, Cookie Puss. You got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there in a really pissed off shop. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of something.
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back.
Man.
It was on vibrate. Sean traced us. Ops can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Driver, move that vehicle. It's about to get real interesting.
6 decades, the studio tour is taking guests on an amazing behind-the-scenes look at a movie studio in a way that only Universal can. I hope that you had a great time today, and on behalf of everyone at NBC Universal, thank you for joining us to celebrate our diamond anniversary. Here's to another 60 years.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. And whether you've been on my tram for the full hour or for only 10 minutes, thank you so much for being here with me today. It's been a blast. Preview night is off to a great start, so thank you all so much for being here. And thank you for celebrating 60 years of the studio tour with us. For 6 decades, we've given you an insider look into Hollywood, from TV's first golden age to our current era of streaming and binge watching your favorite shows. As movies get bigger on the big screen, we've given you exclusive access to ride the movies. No matter how much entertainment changes or how we experience it, we'll be here at the studio tour to show you how it's done. Our 60th anniversary is special to us because the studio tour is where it all began for Universal destinations and experiences. From just 2 Glamor Trams traveling around the studio lot in the summer of 1964, we've developed into so much more, including 7 parks entertaining millions of guests every year, and the upcoming Universal Epic Universe opening in 2025. I'd also like to acknowledge all of our studio tour ambassadors, drivers, and studio guides throughout our history who have helped make the studio tour world famous, from our first 4 guides and drivers to the hundreds of team members who support the tour today. All right, everyone, as we head into unload, on behalf of everyone here at Universal Studios Hollywood, on behalf of myself, Kristen, and our driver, Delia, one more round of applause for Delia, please. Thank you. We hope that you've enjoyed this amazing behind-the-scenes experience, and enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. That is a wrap. Watch your step getting off the tram, and please return those 3D glasses to the bins. Thank you all, and bye for now.
Welcome back, my friends. How was the studio tour? Fantastic. Right this way, my friends. Have a wonderful rest of your night at Universal Studios Hollywood.
I have a question. Why was it 2 hours?
Thanks so much for watching our Glamor Tram experience here at Adventure Isle. We had the best time experiencing the 60th anniversary studio tour, especially because we got to be on the Glamor Tram. Thanks so much for coming along with us. If you're not already, make sure to like and subscribe here to our page at Adventure Isle.